So I take 8 different peptides, but I don't take them all at the same time because I don't stack just to stack. I tier them. And I definitely don't take them the way that most people online are going to tell you. Today, I'm going to show you every single peptide that I personally put into my body, not what our doctors prescribe, not what I recommend on camera, but what I actually use myself. And more importantly, I'm going to show you the 4-tier system that I use to decide what's daily, what's monthly, what's situational, and the one peptide that I only use once a year, and why it might be the most important one on this entire list. Because if you've spent any time researching peptides online, you've probably noticed something. One person swears by BPC 157 changed their life. The next person says it did absolutely nothing. Someone's stacking 5 peptides at once and they're calling it a cheat code. And someone else tried the same stack and they ended up in the emergency room. And you're sitting there thinking, who do I actually believe? What do I actually believe? And in a second, I'm gonna give you the exact filter that I use so that you can stop guessing and start evaluating peptides like a clinician does. I'm Dr. Jones, DC, and I lead the coaching department at our nationwide GLP-1 and peptide clinic, where I've coached thousands of patients through peptide plans. And this passion of mine comes from my own journey because I lost over 100 pounds and I've used peptides personally for a year. And now I work alongside our medical practitioners helping people do the same. So when I tell you what I take, I'm not reading off of a Reddit thread. I'm telling you what I personally do as somebody who's coached thousands of patients, lost over 100 pounds myself, and figured out how to maintain a healthy physique. This is what I put into my body. Now, you're going to want to work with your healthcare provider when it comes to peptide protocols, but understanding how someone who has spent years mastering this space actually thinks about this is going to change how you approach it entirely. So let's get into the framework first, because once you see it, the list will start to make sense. Okay, so here's what you're going to need to understand before I go through the list. I don't stack, I tier, and these are very different. Most people think about peptides like a shopping cart. The more you throw in, the better. That's not how I think about it. My protocol has 4 main categories: daily, foundation, strategic tools, and situational pick up and put down. And the one peptide that I use only once a year. And when you hear what it targets, you'll understand why it earns that spot. Now, let me start with the 2 peptides that I take the most consistently. My foundation layer is 2 peptides, BPC 157 and TB 500. Now, you might have heard this one is called the Wolverine cycle online in peptide communities. And these are my non-negotiables. These are the peptides that I keep coming back to more often than anything else. Let me tell you why. Years ago, I had a knee injury that just wouldn't quit. It wasn't one of those dramatic single moment injuries. It was the kind that would calm down for weeks. I'd start training again, and then it would flare right back up. Every single time I got into the same point where I wouldn't be able to do cardio, I couldn't play volleyball, I couldn't even go on a normal workout without my knees swelling up. Now, if you've ever dealt with a chronic injury like that, you know what it does to you mentally. It's not just the pain, it's the feeling that your own body is working against you. So I went aggressive. I ran what I call a full Wolverine protocol, 1 milligram of BPC 157, 2 milligrams of TB 500 every single day for 3 months. That's not a maintenance dose. That's an aggressive short-term treatment protocol. And of course, I got my peptides from a regulated 503A compounding pharmacy. My own doctors prescribed it to me. And the result was a complete turnaround. The cycle of getting inflamed, it broke. I got back to full training. I got back on the volleyball court. And that experience is what made these 2 peptides in my permanent foundation. I felt like I turned back the clock. Now here's what I need you to understand, because this is where most people get confused. Yes, they're often paired, but they're not doing the same thing. BPC 157 and TB 500 do 2 completely different things. BPC 157 is what's called body protection compound. What it does is it promotes the development of new blood vessels growing into injured tissues. That research is why our doctors prescribe it for recovery. Think of it like building new roads so that healing supplies can actually get where they need to go. And then TB 500 works differently. In early lab research, it's been shown to help repair cells move into injured tissues. So one builds the highway, the other puts the ambulance on it. And in our clinic, the results that we see when patients use both tend to exceed what we observe with either one alone. Now here's the thing. You've probably read stories online where someone says BPC 157 was a miracle, and then the next post says it was a complete disaster. Same peptide, completely opposite experiences. Why is that? The peptide isn't the variable is 3 things: the source, the dose, and the monitoring. When I ran my aggressive protocol, I used pharmacy-grade peptides with the verified purity, tested to be what the label actually says. I had specific dosing targets based on the severity of my injury, and I was tracking my response and adjusting the doses along the way. The person that you read about on a forum who had a disaster, they probably bought mystery powder from an unregulated online website, guessed on what dose it was, and had 0 oversight. Same molecule, completely different experience. That's the difference between a miracle and a mess. Now, if you're hearing this right now and it's making you look at your own peptide situation and think, I'm not sure I have the right source, the right dose, or anybody watching my back, That's what we offer our free discovery calls for, where you can meet with our patient advocates. They can assess exactly where you're at and help you figure out the right approach. You can either text the number on the screen, or you can check out the link in the description if you want to explore that. But let me keep going here, because my monthly peptides are where things get really interesting. Now let's shift into the monthly tools. And this is the section that's going to challenge how you think about your GLP-1 medications. Because one of the peptides I use monthly is Tirzepatide. And before you say, wait, isn't that just Mounjaro? Yes, it is, but I don't use it the way that you've been told to use it. Stay with me here, because the contrast matters. Tirzepatide is approved for once weekly dosing. Some clinics use it off-label, like every 5 days. The typical approach is a gradual step up in dose over time, though clinicians often individualize the schedule. I personally use it once or twice a month, and that's it. And I know that sounds crazy, and if you've been told GLP-1 medications only work when you take them every single week, here's why that's not true, at least in my case. I've already done the heavy lifting. I've lost over 100 pounds, I've reversed my insulin resistance, I built a metabolic foundation through fasting, nutrition, and training. So I don't need Tirzepatide to do the heavy lifting anymore. I use it as a precision tool, a strategic nudge once or twice a month to keep my appetite signals clean and my insulin signaling strong. Think of it this way: if you've never worked out before, you don't need to train 4 or 5 times a week to build a baseline. But once you're fit, a couple maintenance sessions keeps you where you need to be. Same concept. For me personally, Tirzepatide at that low frequency schedule is my metabolic maintenance session. Now, if the idea that a doctor uses Tirzepatide once or twice a month instead of every single week just shifted something in your brain, and you want more framework like this, not Reddit stacks, then hit that subscribe button right now and turn on that bell, because we put out 4 videos per week breaking down peptides, GLP-1 protocols, focused on metabolic health, so that you can actually apply this stuff safely and strategically. Now, let me tell you about the identity question that comes up with this, because I hear it all the time. And I know what some of you are thinking: isn't that cheating? I hear this all the time from patients and from people online. The idea that using a GLP-1 at any dose means that you've outsourced your discipline to a syringe. But that's like saying someone who wears glasses is outsourcing their vision. It's a tool. I use it strategically at the lowest effective frequency and dose to maintain what I built. That's not cheating, that's smart. Now, the second peptide in my monthly category is AOD9604. This is a small piece of human growth hormone. It was originally developed to target fat metabolism, and based on what we understand about AOD, it works differently than GLP-1s. It's not acting on your appetite or caloric intake. In our clinic, patients use it to support fat mobilization, especially during therapeutic fasting windows. And I use it during my extended fasting windows, at least once a month, sometimes twice during a long fast, because here's what most people don't realize. Hormonal issues, especially insulin resistance, can block your body's ability to mobilize fat efficiently. Even when you're in a calorie deficit, eating fewer calories than you burn. It's like having a full gas tank, but the fuel line is partially blocked. AOD is designed to help you with that mobilization. And when you combine it with fasting, which creates that demand for energy, now your body has both the supply and the demand working together, and your results are amplified because of it. So that's my monthly toolkit: Tirzepatide for metabolic maintenance and AOD9604 for targeted fat mobilization during fasting. Precision tools, not blunt instruments. Now, if you want me to make a full video breaking down the exact Wolverine protocol, the dosing, the timing, and what we monitor in our clinic to make sure it's actually working, let me know in the comments if that would be helpful to you. There's a whole category of peptides that I pick up and put down, only when I need them. And in a minute, I'll get to the one that isn't even for my body, it's actually for my brain. This is the category most people get wrong. These are my pick up and put down peptides. No rigid schedules, no mindless cycling. I use them for a specific reason, and I stop it when that reason is handled. First up, CJC 1295 ipamorelin. This is a combo that helps your body release more growth hormone. CJC is a growth hormone signal that tells your pituitary gland to release more growth hormone. Ipamorelin is another peptide that tells your body to release more growth hormone, but it does it through a different route than CJC. Think of CJC as pressing the gas pedal and ipamorelin as adding a second engine. Together, they may produce a stronger pulse of natural growth hormone than either one alone. And I could definitely say that patients agree with that when we see the results. This is why clinicians prescribe the combo to support recovery, muscle preservation, and fat metabolism. Now, the intent will tell you that CJC IPA is a body recomp cheat code, that you should run it for months straight and watch your body transform. But here's the reality: I've already hit where I want to be with muscle mass. I'm not in a building mode anymore. I know, everybody go and feel sorry for Dr. Jones. I have enough muscle mass on my body, I actually don't want more. But that means I don't need growth hormone support on a constant basis. I use CJC IPA situationally if I'm pushing hard in training and need a little extra recovery support. I'll add it in for a few weeks if I'm in a leaning phase and I want to make sure that I'm preserving what I built. Same thing here, but I put it down because growth hormone isn't something that you want elevated 24/7. Your body naturally releases it in pulses, and chronic elevation is associated with real health risks. That's why I'm mimicking natural rhythm patterns, and then I stop. Second, there's Retatrutide. This is the new triple G that everybody's talking about. It hits the glucagon receptors, and it's still in clinical trials, not fully FDA approved yet, but the results have been freaking amazing. Now, I use Retatrutide when I want to get noticeably leaner for a specific goal or a time frame. It's not my everyday medication. Retatrutide is a heavy tool. I pick it up and I use it with intention, and then I put it down. It targets that glucagon receptor, which boosts energy expenditure, a mechanism that Tirzepatide doesn't have. And whether that translates to better fat loss outcomes is still being studied, but early trials have flagged side effects like increased heart rate, stomach and gut symptoms, and its full risk profile is still being defined, which is exactly why I monitor every single thing when I use it. And by the way, if the Tirzepatide microdosing concept blew your mind earlier and you want me to break down exactly how we determine frequency for each patient, let me know in the comments if that video would be helpful to you. Okay, now the third one up in this category is going to surprise you, Semax and Selank. These are nasal peptides originally developed in Russia, and they have nothing to do with body composition. Now, research suggests Semax may increase BDNF, brain-derived neurotropic factor. So think of it like fertilizer for your brain cells. And in small clinical trials, it's shown cognitive benefits. And patients who I've talked to report sharper focus with mental clarity. Selank has shown anxiety-reducing effects in clinical studies and appears to be less drowsy than traditional options. Patients describe it as calm and clarity without the fog. I use these intentionally during high demand periods when I have a week of heavy clinical work or content production and I need my brain performing at its best. But I don't use them chronically. I'm not popping a nasal spray every morning like coffee. These are tools that I pick up for specific cognitive demands and then I put them down. And that discipline is in the restraint. But there is one peptide that I take just once a year, and it might be the most important one on this entire list. Once a year, that's how often I use this peptide. And when I tell you what it does, you're gonna understand why. This peptide is MOTS-c, and it targets something that most people never think about when they think about peptides. That's insulin sensitivity. Here's why this matters. Insulin resistance is a major driver behind many of the metabolic problems that I see in our clinic. It's one of the key reasons people plateau on GLP-1 medications. It's why fat won't budge, even in a calorie deficit. It's why energy crashes, inflammation spikes, and weight loss creeps back. Insulin resistance is the upstream problem that makes everything downstream harder. Now, MOTS-c is a mitochondria-related peptide. It's actually produced naturally in your cells, and early research suggests it may improve how your body responds to insulin. Think of it like defragmenting a computer. Over time, even with good habits, your metabolic machinery accumulates noise. MOTS-c goes in and it clears that noise up, restores sensitivity at a cellular level. Now, most people hear peptide and they think daily, weekly, monthly. MOTS-c doesn't work like that. For me, it's an annual metabolic tune-up. Once a year, I run a short course of like maybe 6 to 8 weeks, and it's 1 injection per week to support my insulin sensitivity baseline. And then I go back to maintaining my foundation with my monthly tools. And I notice a big difference. After that cycle, it seems like my body just gets leaner and stays leaner with less effort, because I'm pretty attuned at this point to how much effort it takes me to maintain a certain level of body fat. And this is really the point of my entire protocol. Some tools you use every day, some tools you use once a month, and some tools, maybe the most important ones, you use once a year. The sophistication isn't in how many peptides you take, it's in knowing which tool to pick up, when to use it, and when to put it back down. And most importantly, what you need specifically as a tailored approach for you. Now, that's everything that I take, but what matters even more is what I don't take, because these are the red lines that you can copy immediately and where I draw the line. This is the part that everybody really wants to hear, because it's the one thing to know what a doctor takes. It's another thing entirely to know what a doctor who personally uses peptides won't touch. Number 1, unregulated BPC 157. Now, let me be clear, there is legitimate oral BPC 157. It comes from 503A compounding pharmacies. Some prescribers combine it with KPV and they use it because of its gut inflammatory issues. That's a real clinical tool. But the problem is what most people are getting when they grab it online, from Amazon, from these various stores offering BPC 157. These are not controlled substances and you don't really know what you're getting. No verified purity, no standardized dosing, no accountability. If your oral BPC didn't come with a prescription from a licensed 503A pharmacy, you have no idea what's actually in the capsule. Number 2, CJC 1295 with DAC. I told you when I do use CJC, which is not so much anymore, I use it without DAC. The version with DAC is a completely different animal. DAC stands for drug affinity complex, and it extends the half-life, how long it stays active in your body, into a multi-day range, often reported around a week. Though estimates vary, That sounds convenient until you realize if you get GH-related side effects like flushing or water retention, you can't turn it off. Some users also report blood sugar changes, though that's less consistently documented. You're stuck waiting for it to clear. Plus, chronic growth hormone elevation can alter how your tissues respond to the hormone over time, which is one reason why sustained elevation is considered risky. I want short, controlled pulses, not a faucet that I can't shut off. And number 3, MK677. This one shows up a ton in peptide stacks online, especially in bodybuilding circles. It's an investigational oral growth hormone secretagogue. It's not really a peptide, it's more of a small molecule, and it's widely marketed as growth hormone boosting. But what it actually does is activate your hunger signals, specifically the ghrelin receptors, which increases hunger dramatically. Here's a big one. It's been shown in several studies to worsen insulin signaling and raise fasting glucose, especially in some people. So for someone trying to lose weight and fix their metabolism, that's the opposite of what you'd want. I'd take CJC IPA for growth hormone benefits any day over some stack that wrecks your insulin signaling. Now, with all that said, and speaking of stacks, let me know in the comments what you're trying to accomplish right now with your peptides, and I'll come in and respond with what sort of peptide protocol might be best for you. Now, if this video made you realize that your peptide approach, it needs a framework that you're missing, whether that's figuring out your sourcing, dialing in the right doses, building a tiered protocol instead of a random stack, or just having someone in your corner who actually monitors what's happening and can give you individualized recommendations. That's exactly what we help people with every single day. You can either text number on the screen, or you can check out the link in the description if you want to book a free discovery call. You'll get to speak with one of our patient advocates who will get to know your history, what you've already tried, and what your long-term goals actually look like. Then they're gonna walk through what it's like to work with me, our coaches, our medical team, and then they're gonna go over programs and pricing so that you can see what long-term results supervised might actually look like depending on your situation. Now, if you haven't already seen this video, these are the peptides to stay away from in 2026. So check this out right there so that you guys stay safe out there, and we'll see you later.